Welcome back to Scale Model Kit Review. This is your host, Steve. Up next is the Hobby Boss F6F-3 Hellcat early version. This model kit is relatively inexpensive. I received my copy from mainland China for only $25, including shipping, which I was amazed about, and it actually arrived fairly quick. This is 1/48 scale, kit number 80338. Let's look at the box art. On the side of the box, it gives us a little brief history of the Hellcat. Some of the decal options obviously is the white 30 from the USS Essex VF9 from 1943. And the other -3 decal is from VF27 USS Princeton 1944. And the other side of the box we get the same picture. And there you have it. This kit was produced in 2002. Let's open it up. And as you can see, kit is full of plastic. We have many bags that are separate inside here. Clear parts are in their own plastic bag. A cowling is in its own plastic bag. And we will remove all these. We'll get a look at the decals, the instructions, and the kit parts. I'll be right back. And here is sprue A, looking at the fuselage halves and some of the bulkheads. The engraved panel line looks real nice, along with some of the rivet detail. The fabric rudder looks very good here. The texture of the plastic does have a little roughness to it, but I don't think that would detract from the paint, as none of these ever really were painted with a metal finish, so were painted typically with the 3-tone paint scheme or just a solid blue tone paint scheme. Let's get a closer look at some of the details on this tree. Here's a close-up of the panel line detail and some of the rivet work. I think it looks just about right for this scale, being 1/48 scale. Here's a close-up of the fabric look for the tail, which I think looks very nice. Here's the detail inside the fuselage. Some of the ribs and spars that are represented here. No detail on the cockpit. They must be separate side panels that are installed. You can see the very large ejector pin marks. So this is the bulkhead for the engine mount. Here's the back headrest and back bulkhead of the cockpit. Here's the pilot seat. There's some more interior details, panels, switches, the tank. Here's the control stick. And there's the throttles and some other components inside the cockpit. And here's the cockpit floor. Here's sprue tree B, which contains the wings, both the top and bottom wing halves. Another nice feature about this kit is that the wings can be either folded or not. So it's pretty nice. You can display your model with the wings folded or with the wings down. Once again, very nice rivet detail on some of the access panels. Very nice engraved panel lines and very nice fabric for the ailerons. Looks like we already have mounts for the rockets and your gun ejectors. Let's get a closer look. Here's a close-up of the bottom of the wing, and you can see just by the shininess here there's a little bit of a mold release agent on these, so be sure you wash your parts before you paint. But you can see we do have the mounts for the rockets, and we do have the gun ejectors. As you can see here, we have some very nice engraved panel lining, some rivet detail on some of the panels there, and once again the fabric look on the ailerons. Very nice. I like how they incorporated the trim tab. And here's the top of the wing detail. And once you can see, there's a little bit of roughness to the plastic, which, like I said, shouldn't be a problem since this is not a bare metal finish. But if you wanted to sand it down lightly, it shouldn't hurt anything. And on the top of the wing we do have aileron trim tab and the fabric look on the aileron. This is the underside detail for the upper wing. Obviously that detail is for the landing gear. This is sprue tree D. There is no sprue tree C. This, of course, contains the upper wing to the fuselage connection, the bottom of the fuselage area. It gives us the horizontal stabilizers with elevators. It also gives us the components for either making the wings folded or unfolded, along with some of the interior components of the wings. Let's get a closer look at the parts. So here's the fine detail of the bottom of the fuselage underneath the engine. Very nice rivet detail and line detail. You can see here the transition of the undercarriage opening. Here's your horizontal stabilizer, an elevator. Nice representation of the fabric covered surface for the elevator. The other side of the elevator surface. Interior details for the wing. Optional mounts for a wing folded or unfolded. Fabric covered flaps. And more wing details. Interior details of the wing structure. Here is sprue tree E, which contains parts for the 2,000 horsepower Pratt & Whitney R2800 Wasp engine. Also contains some bombs, external fuel tank, the propeller, the landing gear, the tires, and some of the rockets. Let's get a closer look at the parts. Here's the cylinders for the 2800 Wasp. And again, detail isn't too bad here. It's not outstanding. It's not the best I've seen for a 1/48 scale. But you figure a lot of it will be hidden underneath the cowl. Here's the gearbox and accessory housing for all the pumps. Here's your oil tank. Here's the propeller. There's a little bit of flash on the propeller that had to be cleaned off, and there's the hub. Here's the landing gear detail. Landing gear door. Engine truss mounts. The tail wheel. Here's the tires. They are in two halves. They're not flattened, but nice detail on the tread. Here's the rockets. Looks like the mount for the external tank and your bombs. And here's Sprue Tree F. Comes separately bagged and it's being protected. I'll take it out and we'll get a look at it. This is what was protected. Get a closer look. Pretty fragile little piece. This is why it was protected. And here's a close-up of the instrument panel. Once again, not the best detail I've seen for this scale. Here's the engine cowl. Once again, has very fine recessed panel lining and some really nice rivet detail here. I like how the oil cooler flaps look on this. There's just a little bit of flash on these parts. Let's look at the front. And you can see the front here of the cowl and the lower engine cooler intake. It's not opened up on the other side, so there's no detail on the other side there. But still, looks very nice. And that's what it looks like on the inside. And here are the clear parts, which look very nice, actually look very clear, which include the back canopy, the armor glass up front, the gun sight, and the side windows. Let's get a closer look here. Very nice there. Very nice details. Very nice clear parts. Here's the front windscreen. Very accurate to what a Dash 3 would have. Very nice and clear. Very nice. Let's look at the decals next. The decals did come with a protective layer on top of them. However, there is some tape on the very edge on the right side there, which you'll probably want to remove. You don't want to have any staining from the tape itself on these decals if you have them in storage for any amount of time. So let me uncover these and we'll get a closer look. Here's a view of the decals as a whole after they're uncovered, and I noticed that from the beginning that the glossiness of the decals is not quite there on them. Like the gloss has actually been removed a little bit or rubbed off a bit. And I'll give you a closer look to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, can you kind of see there the glossiness there, the little right there? That's what I'm talking about. The glossiness is kind of rubbed away on these. And that's the issue I have there with these decals right now. They give us enough markings for 2 aircraft, like I said in the beginning. Let's get a closer look at the instrument panels. And there's your instrument panels. It looks like they're out of register a little bit. You'll probably want to find some aftermarket decals for this. And your prop markings, Hamilton standard markings, prop tips. Don't know how well the white 30s will go over a darker color on the paint. We'll find out. And more markings there. Hobby Boss did supply a nice color marking and painting guide. We'll get a closer look. And you can see we do have the three-tone scheme. We have the white on the bottom, we have the navy blue on top, and the intermediate blue in the middle there. It's showing us where all the markings are placed underneath the airplane. And the same for the top. Here's for the White 30 VF9 USS Essex 1943. And that would be just the intermediate blue with the white. Very nice top view where all your markings go. Very nice bottom view with all the markings. And here are the kit instructions. They do come with a nice parts layout here on the back side. And the instructions just pretty much just fold out as such. And they have you build the cockpit first, along with the engine, undercarriage. Then we build the fuselage halves, next the wings, details on folded versus unfolded wings, and lastly installing the wings and all the bombs and the fuel tank. And there you have it. This was the Hobby Boss F6F-3 Hellcat early version in 1/48 scale, the length of 213.3 millimeter, a width of 272.08 millimeter. This kit is great value, and the details really weren't that bad. I would suggest it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy modeling.